if you want to cut things off and put other things on, go ahead. I don't think that's your best option, but you can. And we may disagree what would be the best option, but you are allowed to do it. But I think the problem is when they demand it as if it's a right, because people started freaking out when transgender surgeries were put on the back burner during COVID, which is, come on, it's not necessary. It's not necessary to the point that you're gonna die before COVID. It's not like you're going to die because you still have that. It's not going to direct cause of death, especially when coronavirus is still going on.
Yeah. Overall, I don't hold anything against transgender people, gay people, etc., etc., etc. I live by the mentality of hate to sin, not the sinner, and this very much applies.
Even it very much does.
Even when someone does something horrible.
Yeah, and
something absurd or odd, unless it's something like murder, which is different.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I've got a transgender friend. I don't know if you know her. Her name is Coco on Twitter. You can go ahead and follow Coco has an underscore no. You can go ahead and go follow her. She's a great personality. Yeah. But also, I mean, if you don't want to hear her political takes, then don't follow her. If you don't want to hear someone's political takes or takes on anything, don't follow them. And if you do, go ahead and follow them. But back to, sorry.
I have.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Sorry, I keep talking over you. But I have a transgender friend that goes by CTG, and I was like thinking for a moment that might be her, but no. But yeah.
Yeah, and then a couple more things is her pinned tweet, "Yo, free trans mask artist," and basically asking for people's profiles. I'd like just ask for people's profiles. You don't gotta make it a trans thing. Just something like that matter. I think that's a big problem for identity politics, is they make things like that matter, things that shouldn't matter. And it's like, why does anyone's race matter to you? If someone's race matters to you, then I think that makes you racist, because race shouldn't. That's what Martin Luther King was saying: judge people by the by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And I'm probably going to be called racist for that.
Yeah. But it's irrelevant.
You are allowed to think what you want.
I mean, it's like literally the least racist, one of the least racist things to say. I mean, it is what you are. It's not what you are, it's who you are, and that's what matters. Yeah. I had friends of all kinds of colors and all kinds of little ideologies. And on Twitter, I try to maintain a variety of people. Yeah. All kinds of ideologies and things. I follow leftists first. I follow right wing first. I follow all kinds of people. I don't want to be the person. I don't want to be the kind of person who has to. All my friends have to be all right wing or left wing or anything like that, because that's it puts you in a echo chamber, and
it's not,
and that's not good for your mind, because basically you're putting yourself in a place where everyone's going to just agree with everything, and that's how a lot of people make poor choices. And this is a political podcast, so I'm going to bring it up, because generally I would not bring it up. And my criticism, I supported Trump in 2016 after he became a nominee. I was hesitant, I will admit that. I supported everyone but
I
him until
I
he got the
ironically
nomination.
supported Bernie in 2016.
Honestly, I didn't understand.
Yeah. Oh, I was
Oh
a dirty
my.
socialist back then. I wanted free college, free healthcare. Oh, I was so uninformed, and I just shot onto the other side of the political spectrum.
Excuse me, excuse me while I vomit my
Sorry about
guts.
that. Yeah, and one of the things that brought me over to the right was Trump got elected, and so I thought, okay, well, you made promises, now deliver on them, and in my opinion, he did. He's boosted the economy, and he's trying to stop illegal immigration. He's trying to put a focus on proper immigration, and I think that's one of the best things that they could do. And he closed the country down earlier than the leftists wanted, and he got flack for that, and then he got flack for not closing it down early enough, and it's no.
Because it's never enough. It's like
No.
like he has to be Jesus or something and have to do absolutely everything perfectly. And that's what they expect. Well, that's beyond the point. I'm just saying it from the aspect that Jesus is perfect. Anyone who believes otherwise is I'd be concerned. But anyway, that's not the point here. The point I was making is
second, my dad whistled.
The first
1 second, I'll be right
technically
back.
it's the second thing. I'll entertain our audience to see how many people will be here. So while we had this little downtime, I'll introduce myself. How about that? I'm Eddy. My real name is Andre. I'm very much into technology. I'm a tech dude more than a political dude, but I do enjoy myself some good politics. Particularly only with people who are actually willing to listen and not just bicker with everything I say, or because it's a certain thing. Excuse me, pardon. And I've been designing software forever, basically. For the last since 2014, I've been doing software design.
I am.
Oh,
sorry,
are you back yet?
Sure if I should just say I'm back.
Okay, I'm using the downtime to introduce myself, so no time wasted. I have been doing software design for 6 years, and I've been a political junkie since like pretty much the election, like 2016.
Yeah.
Actually 2015. I've been politically active. Not really active. I don't really do much about my politics. I just tell people they're crazy and get blocked on Twitter. Oh wait, no, that's what Tella does. Excuse me. No. Well, back then I was not much better than Tyler, but at least I wasn't the person who actually actively tried to get himself into trouble. But I kind of did get myself involved in too many flame wars with people who weren't going to listen. And you could probably just look at their tweets for like about, I'd say like 5 seconds, and you probably would see that, well, your whole little argument for the last, 3 hours went to complete crap because you're just in a rabbit hole and you can't win an argument. Which I would get myself
involved into back then. There was one time I was talking with someone, and when I was on the left, I was still I had conservative values, but on the left. And one of the things that I was for or against, I guess, was gun control. And I don't know if you've heard of this anime YouTuber, but Jeff Stu, Mother's Basement, said something about gun control in America. Ironically enough, he's Canadian. I don't know what he's doing trying to get in our politics, but he said something about gun control. He said something about gun control. I responded, and I got into a debate with someone, and I told them that the Second Amendment was for in case a tyrannical government came in, and they were like straight up for getting rid of the Second Amendment, and they also said that the government's already corrupt. So I don't know what they were going for. Okay. I guess I'll keep the silence filled. Okay.
Oh, you should introduce yourself too.
Okay.
So my name is
Cwittz. Eddy kind of pronounces it wrong a little bit. Cwittz, as if it's separate, and I've been on Twitter since 2015, a little before the election, getting pretty political. If you follow me, which I think a few of the people watching this will be, some of my followers, some of Eddy's peaceful. Anyways, sometimes when I get political, I will just flood the timeline with stuff, and sometimes I regret that. I'll want to fill a timeline with something else, and I don't want to like bring people down with too much politics that it just sucks. But yeah, so if any of my followers are listening to that and they get annoyed, but I'm sorry about that. Sometimes I do art. I enjoy drawing, and I've been a furry officially for about a year now. It was last summer that I first came up with my persona, and I did have a little trouble getting that down, but and I don't have an exact date for it, so I don't know exactly how long. I just know it was last summer, and I also really enjoy anime and the video games. Hype for Halo Infinite. Let's hope that is wild. The gameplay looks pretty good on last Thursday. Yeah. Geez, it kind of feels like I am talking to myself right now just because I'm not talking to anyone directly. I guess I should take this time to say that we do take suggestions for subjects. Well, I will put the link to the Discord in the description, and there you can give suggestions of something we'll talk about. And we'll probably talk about it because, like, one reason I wanted to make this podcast was that I've listened to the what's their name? Furcast for a couple of times, and it always feels like it's a podcast that has furries instead of a furry podcast that sometimes gets into stuff. And I kind of wanted to flip that and reverse it, so hopefully we don't fall into the same trap of just being a podcast that just has furries.
Well, I'm back, and
yeah, I was in the middle of saying that
I'm back.
I had noticed that the Furcast, like the one Furcast, to me it always feels like it's just a podcast that just has furries. It doesn't feel like it's a podcast that is about furries or run by furries. They just sometimes talk about furry stuff. And so I just wanted to kind of reverse that, make it so that it was a podcast that was a podcast by furries that furries could listen to. And that sometimes we get, a lot of the time we get political or cultural and talk about stuff, and we talk about like pop culture or maybe just the culture that's downstream of politics. And I was about to say that if our audience ever notices that we are drifting apart from that I would hope that they tell us that that's something that's happening, that we can direct ourselves away from and hopefully fix.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts on how things are in the world right now, just in general, is we have to, I'm probably quoting some Democrat, but we have to have these difficult discussions sometimes. So far, we haven't really talked anything really difficult yet, but in the coming...
Not, well, particularly.
We have to have these political discussions, and we have to be well-mannered, and here's the quote from Thomas Jefferson. I'm going to paraphrase it. I don't have it here prepared and beautiful, but a quote that Thomas Jefferson